Welcome to the Practical Ascension Podcast. I'm your host and soul alchemist, Tracy Goody. Stay with me for practical guidance and flow for your modern life through this time of ascension. Today on the Practical Ascension Podcast, I am joined by Kay Sanders, intuitive business mentor, Akashic Records guide, international best-selling author, and founder of the Divine Business Academy. Kay Sanders, also known as the creator of Possibilities, is a mentor to heart-centered entrepreneurs who want to create momentum and scale their business so they can help more people make a bigger impact and make more money doing so. Kay helps her clients gain the clarity that will keep them in complete alignment to their business and purpose so they can make the impact they are here to make and at the same time create the business and lifestyle of their dreams. Today, Kay will be sharing with us insights to ignite your financial abundance from within. Welcome, Kay.
Hi, Tracy. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, it's so great to talk to you. So before we start to really dive into the topic here, I'd love to hear a little bit more about your story and what got you to this point.
It's actually a pretty interesting, a funny story, interesting story, whatever you want to call it. Like originally I'm from Germany and I came here with my now ex-husband back in 2006. And he decided 2 months later, he thought, he's going to bring me here and my son, and then he's going to take off running and, leave me here. So I've been basically on my own ever since. And, I've been an entrepreneur, from early on. I'm really an entrepreneur by heart, and I had my own little nail technician business at home back in Germany. And when I came here, I was really looking for something that I can do to really do more with my life than just being an employee, right? So I started with network marketing, and that totally did not work for me. And then in 2012, I was working in a PTSD treatment facility, and that's when I actually came across the coaching industry because I learned that I had PTSD, anxiety, the whole 9 yards. And I also learned about holistic modalities because, in that PTSD treatment facility, we're offering Reiki and, acupuncture, all these holistic modalities. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing, right? I can do coaching, I can do holistic stuff. You don't need medication. I'm like, holy crap, this is like amazing. So I started with the coaching, but the problem was I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know about business, about systems, strategies, how to sell, or any of that stuff. So for the first few years, I was really just kicking tires, didn't really do much. It was really just more like a hobby that I was trying to build up, where I was spending a lot of money on, but I didn't get anywhere. And then I got certified as a coach, really learned how to coach. And that's when I also went into the business side because I love the tech side. And most people really don't. But that was really my zone of genius. But, when the universe has different plans for you, no matter what you do, you kind of can't get out of, moving into a different direction, right? And for me, it was really the way that, like, my business was not going well. I was struggling so badly with getting clients, with getting my message out there. It was just bad. And in 2016, I actually found out that I am spiritual. I have gifts. I'm an empath. I was like, what? What does that mean? What am I supposed to do with that, right? My world just kind of blew up in my face, and I did not know what to do with that. And it was like, I had my first experience with the spiritual world because I met a lady here locally, and she introduced me to the angels, and that really blew my mind. But it was like, I was kind of like peeking through the door with my nose, just kind of like checking things out. But like spirit was behind me, just pushing me through the door. Like, you better learn how to fly, and you better learn how to fly very fast, right?
Yep, exactly.
So it was like, one thing really led to another because initially I started out just as a business coach, the systems, the strategies, those type of things. But then over time, and because of my own struggles, I learned about the internal side, that success is really not determined by how much you do, but by who you need to become in order to become successful. So I was doing a lot of personal development, a lot of mindset work, inner work, healing. And then the whole spiritual side kind of came about. And then about 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, I found out about the Akashic Records. And I'm pretty sure when you learned about the Akashic Records, that blew your mind as well, right? And that's kind of like what happened with me. I felt like I came home. Like everything started to make sense. But, I was resistant to that. I was like, I got to tell people what to do. I got to give them guidance. Didn't want to do that, So I was so resistant. But, the universe kind of kept smacking me in the head, like letting me know that, lady, you got a big purpose here and you better get on with the project, with the program, or you're going to be struggling. So I had, much of a kind of conversation with my guides, and I'm like, what's going on? What's going on here? Why is this not working? But everything really led to where I'm at right now is like really giving my clients the guidance through the Akashic records, using light language now too in order to really activate my clients. Like my guide shared with me that I'm the divine messenger. I'm not a healer, so I don't heal. It's the words that I use that are going to be healing. They're going to be activating my clients to move forward. So long story short, it's really because of my own struggles of being resistant, of learning of who I am within, discovering my spiritual side is really what led me today to helping other entrepreneurs really on their journey to becoming who they are, or who they are meant to be, and also to make the impact that they're here to make, from the business, the mindset, the spirituality, really in a combined blended mix to really help them make the impact that they're here to make, but not really sure how to really step into that. So that's basically my story. It was a lot of, smacking in the head by the universal baseball bat, a lot of resistance, a lot of, shifting and healing that really led me to who I am today. And it's been a fun and interesting journey. I tell you that much.
Yeah. Like a fast one too, it sounds like. So you did,
oh, yes.
Yeah, so Angels was kind of like the first knock, and then Akashic Records, and then that exploded the brain, and then it was moving into light language. Is that kind of how the spiritual aspect of it started to kind of get into you?
Yes, basically. I mean, that's like really how it was, and it just barely started back in 2016. So it was really like that big push into that, and like I mean, I even told my guys, I'm like, can you just kind of stop real quick and let me catch a breath here, let me catch up.
Yeah.
Here. But no.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I totally know that. Yeah. And that's interesting. And I love that. And I love speaking to other people that have kind of that soul connection into the Akashic records. And the way you mentioned it felt like coming home. And I totally get that. And they really open up the possibilities for so many other things.
Yes, most definitely. I mean, I do the readings like for myself so many times because I mean, let's face it, we all have questions, right? We all want to know what's our purpose, what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to make it happen? Like, I mean, I focus my readings strictly around business, really giving clear guidance. And like, I do that for myself so many times. I mean, I even checked my signature talk before because I was like, I don't know what to talk about, right? And, getting that guidance is it's so powerful. It's really that shortcut. And when I learned about the Akashic records, it really blew my mind of the potential that really lays within the records, like all the stuff that you can find out. It makes life just so much easier when you can tap into something where you are in alignment. And because I think that's really the biggest key that a lot of people are struggling with. They're so misaligned in their life, in their business, with the things that they're doing. And when you have that access to the Akashic records and you get that guidance of what you're meant to do, that is most in alignment with you right now, that's really going to get you the results. It is so powerful because when you're doing the things that you're here to do, that everything flows so much easier. There's not that resistance there, like you're trying all these different things and nothing seems to be working. So that's really what I find most powerful about the Akashic record. It keeps you in alignment with what's to your highest and greatest good right now in this moment. So that's really what I find very powerful.
Yeah, I agree with you. And then plus besides things flowing so much easier, it just feels better. Like whenever you are in that alignment, it clicks in, and it's not as much struggle. Like you're still going to come up to resistance here and there to get over and mindset things, but it just feels so much better whenever you do click into offers and business activities that are in alignment with you.
Exactly.
Love it. Okay. All right. So igniting your financial abundance from within. The majority of our listeners are light workers. If not, I would say all of our listeners are light workers, whether they are aware of that yet or not. And many of them are business owners. So can you touch on why this is such an important topic for this group in particular? What comes up for you around that?
Well, financial abundance. I mean, one of the things that I see a lot in the spiritual community is that there are a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of the spiritual entrepreneurs who are struggling badly when it comes to making a decent income, either because they don't feel that they can charge for something that they love to do. I mean, they're making such a big impact, and they're having really struggled to charge really a good amount for what they're doing, or they feel like it's sleazy. It feels like I mean, how can I charge for something that I really love doing? But the thing is, it's really, I mean, we have a big purpose, and I really feel that if we're not charging enough or very little for the service that we're offering, we're actually doing ourselves a disservice. We're doing our clients a disservice, because I mean, the more people invest, the more skin they have in the game, the more change they're creating for themselves. And of course, I mean, the more money you as an entrepreneur make, the more you can grow your business. But a lot of the things that I see is limiting beliefs about, what's really possible, not being able to charge, not feeling comfortable about actually asking for the money, because in a spiritual community, it's like an evil thing to ask for money, or money is evil, rich people are evil, and all of those different things. And a lot of people see a disconnect in charging for what they're doing in the spiritual side. Like they're feeling like they have to give their services away for free or for a very reasonable price, because so many people need what we have, but they often can't afford to work with us, right? So there's that big disconnect about that. And really the financial, like you mentioned, like it's from within. It's because how we feel about ourselves, our self-worth really determines our net worth. And I don't remember who said that, who I got this from. I mean, one of the big
Nancy Levine.
Okay, never heard of that person, but someone said that. I'm pretty sure other people said that too. But it's really, your net worth is really determined about how confident you are in yourself, how comfortable you are with, are charging for what you're doing. So if you're not making a whole lot of money, it's probably because you're having some kind of limiting beliefs about what's really possible for you. You don't think you can charge for what you're doing, or those type of things. So it's really an internal aspect that determines how successful you are going to be in your business, and also with your finances. So that's why I mentioned earlier, it's not about what you do to become successful. It's really who you need to become from within. And that really determines how much money you're going to make in your business, how many clients you're going to attract, how easy it's going to be for you to attract opportunities, money, clients, and all the things that will allow you to grow your business. And everything just really determines of that internal dialogue as well, and who you are within, that determines everything that you're doing in your life, in your business, the success that you're creating, and also the impact that you're going to have with your clients. I mean, we have come here, we all, us spiritual entrepreneurs, we have a big purpose. I mean, we are gifted with these amazing gifts. I mean, me with Akashic Records Light Language, you with Akashic Records, and what you're doing, and every one of the listeners, they have an amazing gift that they're here to make a difference. But if you don't feel comfortable to ask for money, to talk about what you're doing, or to get out, to become visible, then at the end of the day, who do you really serve? How much impact can you really have if you're holding yourself back because of all that internal stuff that's going on, that's really holding you back, that's keeping you playing small? Now, my purpose here is to help my clients break free from that, to get out there more, because we have a purpose. And especially now with everything that's going on in this world, with all the, that negativity and all that ugliness going on right now, we are being called to step up to the game to make that impact. And that's often very frightening for me. I remember when with the Akashic Records, I mean, I was resisting that because I felt like I had these huge shoes to fill, right? And even with the light language, this is like huge. I'm like, oh my God, me, little person, I got to do these things. But, you really got to work on your internal side in order to really fulfill your life's purpose. And that's really, really the topic today, is that to help the listeners to really tap into that and let go of whatever's holding them back, so they can create more financial abundance, to be out there more, to create an amazing, successful business so they can make that impact.
Now, would you say that the more, like the way that it goes is the more financial abundance you have, the more of yourself you can show up into? Like, I know whenever healers and business owners are in this state of struggle financially, it's tricky to really show up as who you are. So thinking of it as kind of a gift to the people that you're serving, the fact that you have this financial abundance, you feel supported and you feel secure, allows you to get your message out there in a bigger way too, I think.
Yeah, most definitely. Because if you're thinking about, if you're in lack, if you're like, oh my God, I need a new client, I need a new client, I don't know how to pay my bills. When you show up, let's say you want to do, for example, a video for online, let's say a live or just record a video, or even just the content you're sharing, or whatever it is that you're doing, even if you just have a conversation with a potential client. Your energy is saying, please, please work with me.
Yeah.
I really, really need you. That's the wrong energy to be in. You really got to stand in your power to be of service, detached from any kind of outcome. And I get it. That is really the hardest part. I've been there where I didn't know how to pay my bills, where I had to ask my parents to support me because my business was not going so well. Because especially like when you're in resistance mode, nothing is really going very well.
Yeah.
But that's when you really have to take a step back. You have to trust that you are right where you're meant to be, that everything will be fine. And I know, I mean, like people, like, I've listened to that same saying so many times. I'm like, are they crazy? I mean, how can I feel abundant if I don't know how to pay my bills, right? But that's really the thing. You gotta let go of that and really trust. I mean, since your audience are light workers, they are in tune with the higher guidance, with the guides, or with whoever, right? With the higher something or the greater something. And it's really, you have to take a step back and stop pushing, stop resisting. And when you're in lack, you cannot be in flow, right? Because when you're in lack, you're pushing, you're trying to make things happen. You're hustling, you're grinding, you're doing all the things that you think are the right thing. But oftentimes it's not what you're meant to do, because sometimes you just really just gotta sit back and allow things to happen. And I get that can be very difficult, but when you're really in this, I need to make things happen, I need another client, I don't know how to pay my bills, you're really in the wrong energy, and you are actually putting this huge energetic wall around you, telling your clients, please don't come to me because I really need you, but I'm not in the right place. So it's really, you gotta let go of that. You gotta work on your internal mindset, on your beliefs, and really learn to surrender, trust, let go of, because then you get that inspirational hits. You get that inspiration that like, oh my God, this is an amazing thing to do that really fires me up. And you just feel so excited to get something going. And that's when the magic happens. When you're in that flow of, you're like internally, you just know this is the right thing to do. And you know things will work out. That's when you attract clients. That's when you attract opportunities. That's when you also make the most money. But when you're in the energy of like, I gotta make something happen, I need clients. Whenever you need something, that usually takes off running, right?
That's too much pressure, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
So now on this topic of financial abundance, I'm curious with your clients and with the people that you're seeing, what's the biggest block or struggle that you notice?
Well, the biggest one is really about not believing that they can do more. They don't really see the possibilities. There's a lot of fear, self-doubt, self-worth issues going on that, because like I said, especially as the spiritual entrepreneurs, they know they can make a big impact, but then also they wonder, am I really deserving? Can I really make this happen? And then also this whole asking for money is really, really big for a lot of people. It's really a big struggle, not believing in themselves that, I'm really good in what I do. Yeah. I mean, I can't really, especially when it comes to spiritual aspects, like you can't really prove to people that you can make a big impact. You just got to know that whatever you're doing is going to make a big impact. But there's so many limiting beliefs around money. It's crazy. And especially when you're in this lack mentality, like, well, I don't have the money. I can't afford it. I can't afford a coach. I can't afford this. And, no one is going to pay me for what I do. And, I can't charge that much. So there's all these limiting beliefs, these stories that they're running in the background that's really sabotaging them from actually getting out there, or even, just being visible. That's another thing. And especially in the spiritual community, I've talked to a lot of people, and like even a lot of the clients that I've done readings for, the biggest thing was to really step into who they are. And well, a lot of my clients, they are spiritual entrepreneurs and they just haven't come out the spiritual closet yet, and just stepping into that and saying, yes, I am spiritual. Yes, I have divine gifts and I'm embodying it. I'm owning that. I'm really stepping into that. That is a big key. That's very challenging for a lot of people, because when you're on the spiritual side, people might judge you. I know here where I live, I don't really talk about the things I do, because usually people, they look at me like I lost my last marbles. I'm like, I channel, I access the records. Like, what? Right?
You don't walk around speaking light language walking down the street?
Yeah, no. In my head, yes, but not.
Yes.
Not but it's like when you step into that, I mean, people might look at you differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what really holds a lot of people back, really stepping into that. I know for me, that was one thing. I'm like, what? I got to tell people what to do. I got to channel, right? And it's just, really stepping into that and owning that, and really being proud of that. I think that is really the biggest thing, that you just got to do. You just got to step into who you are and own it. Be proud of all the gifts that you have, because I like to see it like that. The people who are meant to hear my stuff and see my stuff, they will. The people that are not in alignment with that, they won't even see me no more. They don't even realize, because and that one of my coaches had told me that before, like the more you raise in vibration, the people that are not in the same vibration, they won't even recognize you. They won't even see you. They won't even realize that you're there. And funny enough, that's actually true. I mean, I do a lot of outreach online on LinkedIn, and I don't even remember the last time I had a conversation with someone that was not on the spiritual side, that was not at least a little bit on the spiritual side. It's because I vibrate at a completely different vibration than those people who are not spiritual based. So when you're afraid of really stepping out there, you're not being who you are. So you're basically pretending that you're someone that you're not, right? And you're attracting the wrong kind of people. So as soon as you really own who you are and really step into that, you're going to attract the people you're meant to serve, because then you're shining your light at the same frequency that will attract them. And like I said, that's really where a lot of people are afraid of really stepping into that, like stepping into coming out of the spiritual closet and really owning that. And, as it really relates to their business as well, it's really tough for a lot of entrepreneurs to really own what they're here to do, stepping into that, really stepping into their purpose and owning it and doing whatever is necessary to get out there, to get their word out there, to get the message out there, and also feeling comfortable enough to saying, yes, you know what? I have amazing gifts, but I am going to charge you for that, because then when you charge, you're going to get even more results than if I'm giving it away for free. So
absolutely. Yeah. No, it makes total sense. And yeah, there's an energy exchange there between the financial abundance that comes in and the energy you give out, that there's more value to it when you are charging for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I believe it. So is there any one particular action step that you would give to our listeners to help them move in the direction of more financial abundance?
I would start with tuning into the energy of money to uncover what's really coming up for you. What's your current story around money? Do you feel that you are abundant, or do you feel that you're in lack? And really tune into that and see whatever comes up, because there might be stories usually the stories that the program that we have today is from what we learned as a child, as we're growing up. And you really want to find out, what is that programming? What is your current money story? And then you can determine, do you want to continue with the story, or do you want to let go of a lot of the stuff that no longer serves you, and then really step into a new and abundant story? And then you want to rewrite that story. It's really about the stories that we tell ourselves each and every day that determines how we're moving forward, the kind of life we're living. Because if you want to become, let's say, a six-figure earner, but you're not that yet, it's because it's the story that you're telling yourself that you're not that person yet. So you have to become that by the stories you rewrite. It's about the stories around the type of clients you're attracting, if you're not attracting the right kind of clients right now, it's because the story that you're telling yourself only attracts the clients that you're attracting right now. So if you want to attract high-end clients that are willing, able, and ready to pay for your service, and they're paying, you know, in full or a certain amount and not even a higher amount, you just got to tune into that. You got to rewrite that story and then really, you know, anchor in that new story that this is the people that I want to attract. This is the amount of money I want to make, and I can make that money. And if you have any limiting beliefs that are coming up, any stories that are coming up, you always have a choice to rewrite that story. But it really starts with being conscious of the stories that you're telling yourself, because oftentimes we don't even realize all the negative and limiting things we say about ourselves, that we think about ourselves, or that we think that about our situation, or about how powerful we are. We have limiting stories. So by realizing what those stories are, you then have a choice. Absolutely. Are you going to continue with that story? Or are you going to do whatever necessary to let go of that and rewrite a new story and really embody that? And each and every day, choose what you want. Because every day there's something that's going to happen. I mean, even every moment of your day, something can happen that can throw you off course. But then you want to stop yourself and think, is this what I want? If not, then what can I do? How can I shift my thinking? How can I shift my vibration to feel, to think, and move into the direction of where I want to go? But it really starts with being aware of what's going on beneath the surface. Absolutely. And then you have a choice.
Yeah. So being aware of your story, getting in tune with that, and then making the choice. Mm-hmm. Yes. I love that. Wonderful. So now here's a question that I ask all of my guests. When is a time that you stepped into ascendant living? So transformed a challenge or a struggle into growth. And it seems like the story that you told us about your journey to get here kind of fits the bill. But do you have anything else specific that you want to add around that?
Well, it was actually the thing that made the biggest difference is really stepping into believing that I have powerful gifts, and not powerful from like a big head, like, oh my God, I'm powerful, but more from a humble, like, you know what, I can make an impact. That the gifts that I was given them for a reason, because I'm supposed to use them to make an impact, to help other people. And then when I saw the impact at my readings, and even now with the light language, because that was the second time when I really had this major shift, when I realized how powerful those things are. And I know I want to share a quick story with you real quick. Like my dad, for example, he's not spiritual at all. Like at all. He doesn't get it. It's not his thing, right? And I had shared a light language transmission with my mom, and she just played it, you know, to my dad. And my dad was touched.
Really?
And he actually had tears in his eyes. And when my mom shared that with me, I was like, oh my God. Because I mean, I wasn't really stepping into that yet, and like really sharing light language officially out in the open, right? I was just doing it for myself. But when my mom told me that my dad, out of all people, had an emotional reaction to a light language transmission that I shared with my mom, I mean, that blew my mind. I'm like, okay, I'm sold. I'm good. I'm powerful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm going to really embody that. And I had the same kind of experience with my Akashic Record readings, not with my dad, but with a client of mine, where I really realized, oh my God, this is really so powerful. This is what I need to do. And at that moment, when I really made the choice to step into my purpose, what I'm here to do, everything shifted for me. I was more in tune with my guides. I was more in tune with me, myself, my higher self. I felt a shift within. But it really needed to come to the point where it was like really like a slap in the face and like, hey, wake up. You are powerful. You better believe it. You know, here's the proof. Yeah. And that's really, those two instances really shifted so much for me that I really stepped into what I'm here to do without resistance. I mean, of course, the resistance, you know, always kind of comes up, but just those two things, it really made the biggest impact for me, where I said, okay, I'm sold. I'm going to stop resisting now. I'm just going to, you know, go with the flow.
Exactly. It makes sense too. Whenever you have that kind of like that confirmation and that validation, it really catapults you forward.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. So what are you working on right now, and where can listeners go to find you online?
Yeah, and so I mean, right now, I mean, a lot of things are shifting in my business. I'm definitely going to include a lot more of the light language into my
Mm-hmm.
work. I'm actually working on putting a new coaching program together around wealth and abundance that really infuses the Akashic records, the light language, all in one. I mean, I still do the business coaching as well, but right now I'm really focusing on including the light language into everything I do with the Akashic records, because I mean, you know, Spirit kind of tapped me on the head like a couple of times that I need to go into that. Then my Divine Business Academy, really growing that even more, getting the word out there even more. And, you know, I want to go into speaking, really channeling on stage, using the light language, like really out in the open a lot more. So that's really the main things that I'm working on right now. And, you know, listeners can find out more about me on my website, kaysanders.com, or even my Divine Business Academy. It's divinebusinessacademy.com. And I'm also on social media, mainly on LinkedIn. I'm a LinkedIn girl, not a Facebook girl. So, you know, they can find out, you know, type in Kay Sanders and a lot of stuff should come up around me.
Awesome. And I'll link that in the show notes below as
Mm-hmm.
well so people can find you easily. So that's amazing. So now I'm curious if you would be interested, as we're wrapping up the podcast here, if you would be interested in sharing with us a light language transmission so our listeners can experience that. And then I encourage them to, if you're open to doing this, that whenever they're listening to it, not to listen with your brain, but to listen with your heart instead, and just kind of breathe in and see what comes up. Would you be interested in sharing that with us?
Yes, definitely.
Yay.
You know, I would
Awesome.
love to. So, okay, so what I would like for you and even the listeners to do is really tune into your heart. And like you just shared, don't listen to with your ears, because when it comes to light language, you're not going to understand what it means. It's really on a feeling base. You will feel the energy, because the light language is really a transmission of light codes, of activation, of healing, and the energy will do whatever it's intended to do. So my intention for this light language activation is about activating abundance and releasing resistance. So I would like for you all to just set an intention to be grounded, to be open to receiving, and to let the energy do whatever it's intended to do. Okay, so let me just tune in real quick and I'll start in a second. Kusu uhuma e he na isi kia, le ki ira ai na ka ale e ti, wa me i ti ane e ki a, so urua le e na I ka ale a, so uuma e ni I ka a ya e nia ne e la e si I ti I mea. I ku urua ne, sa ka ahe ina e lea ni ia me ia ku ua se e, la ka ahiti ini I ti ale I ka rua ne I sia ne e, wa me e na ka ahe ti ia ka aha, so ku uru utu uma e nia ina se inia ni ku, sa ya ne I ti I ma e chi ka ahina a, lo uru la e hena, so hu utu uku uma e na ka ahe ti ia ne ia la a, su umo uru unu ushuk ahi ini ki iaka suku uru unu uma aini ila ayana hu uma ani iaka ai si aneya ka aini ale ruane ele ita ai si ina ame ka ani na ka a uma utu uni ila ayana eka suku uru ulu uma ania iani ka ayani ia nia sina ale niaka wa me ena aya ne ia good ua ena ase iki itameke wa me ene ka ela ari ani si iki iti aka ara yu usu ama e so u uno maka ena iki ania ni yaku ka ia ni ale aria le ase ane e ka ia nea hu uma e sa a ia ne e so uno uku uru ulua ni ilaka wa me e ka ahase hu uchu uku utuma e ti kati iliki e ria nikitia saka ina ete e wa eni ichi itu uru ulu utu uma aike enea saka ua ene saka ahiti iti iki ia haiana wa e iane e ase aina aisiane aisi shi ikiti imea niaka sukuru ania Kianeaka. So just take a deep breath and just let that sink in. One of the things that I really saw as I was doing this was kind of like wiping the slate clean, really. It was like I saw like a window was, that was like very dirty, and basically it was being cleaned so you can see out, so you can also open yourself up to receiving without that layer of density, that shadow that's overshadowing your deservingness, and really opening your heart to allowing abundance, allowing success, allowing clients to come and find you. Also allow yourself to shine your light, to be that lighthouse that attracts those souls that you are meant to touch, that you're meant to support in your journey, and helping them on their journey. So I hope this was helpful.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for joining me today, Kay. I very much enjoyed that transmission, and I encourage our listeners to go back and re-listen again and see what comes up for them after they hear your explanation of it too. And I definitely felt some energy shifting during that. So thank you so much for joining me.
No, thanks for having me. It was definitely a pleasure. And also thank you for allowing me to do some light language. I definitely hope it was beneficial for everyone that's listening.
Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember to check out practicalascension.com for your free membership, access to guided journeys, energy healings, activations, and more to deepen your practical ascension experience. And grab that all in the show notes below. Have an amazing day.